Hello. Okay, so our next craft is going to be story stones. What you're going to need for this is a paintbrush, some Mod Podge, the scissors. This will be for your stones after the fact to put them in little bags. And then we'll do two different versions of it. So we have little wood discs, and then we have rocks.
So the thing that you want to keep in mind when you're deciding what you want to do, the wood discs are really easy. They're a little bit more expensive. I think they come in packs of 12 at Michael's. I think they're like $4.99 or $6.99. This came from the Dollar Tree. And while there are some rocks that are too small to use, there are plenty that are big enough. For the Mod Podge, matte Mod Podge I got at the Dollar Tree. The larger bottle I got at Michael's. I don't remember how much it was at Michael's, but it was more than $1. I also got these little cutting mats at the Dollar Tree. They're good once the pieces that you're working on are done to set them on so they don't necessarily stick to your table. So, this is the sheet. I don't know how well you can see this in the camera, but it's little icons that were found by someone else, not me. Little sci-fi icons, and put in these handy little size for cutting out and putting on the story stone of your choice. You can get this at triedandtrueblog.com. They are called sci-fi story stones. They are listed as for personal use only, so obviously we're not going to sell these to anybody, but they're open for anybody who wants to use them, so very easy to get. The first thing to do would be to make sure that you have enough, that you've gotten enough discs, or that you've chosen the rocks that you need, which I haven't done yet. Yeah, 24. And you can see I'm just picking out rocks that have a nice flat face. We'll probably cut this short too. Probably should have done this part beforehand.
We'll just play this part in slow motion during the credits.
The outtakes. Oh yeah, Jen wasn't prepared with the rocks. That's got a nice spot on it. So maybe one bag is good for one set, maybe not so much for two.
So it looks like the discs, there's only 18 of them. So I'll do 9 maybe.
Yeah, I did 2 sets with the discs that I bought, and that's what I had left. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's more just to give an example. Like, I don't necessarily need them.
Right. I don't know, you guys might have some dark, stormy night when you're sitting at home. What are we gonna do? Hey, story stones, that's fun. You don't like crafting, but you like telling stories, right? give an idea of the different types of stones that are usable. As long as they've got a nice flat face. Then you just cut these out however you want to cut them. Round, square, close to the line. You just want to cut them so they fit on whatever you're using. There's all kinds of things on here, like a lightsaber, the Lost in Space robot, a couple of people from Star Trek, the communicator. There's a Fez, and a Dalek, and a TARDIS, but I don't think there's a Doctor. So
There's a Spock.
there is a Spock, and a Uhura,
And a Chewbacca.
and Leia. A planet that's exploding. Some tribbles. So
Here
this-
they create trouble.
This is a nice set to begin with, but if you really like them and you really decide you're having fun but you're missing a few, you're more than welcome to search out your own little icons. You just want to make sure they're small enough to fit on whatever you're using. I suppose clip art would be good for this. Just shrink it down to, yeah, 1/2 inch. I think one that I missed that's not on here is K9. I would like to add K9 if I were going to do some on my own completely. Might add a few things from Babylon 5. I don't know. Is that Firefly?
Yeah, I think that's the Serenity. That looks like the Serenity.
Yeah. So,
It's next to Jane's hat, so that would make sense.
yeah. The important thing is that these are a good mix. And what you do with them when they're done is you just take turns reaching into a sack or a pouch, a box, pull out 3 or 4 of them, and then tell a story utilizing the pictures on the stones you've picked. And if you're crossing over from one fandom to another, how much more fun is that? I don't know, maybe you'd want to find the car from Supernatural, or maybe some angel's wings.
Mm-hmm.
Something to add in that respect.
I'm a big fan of Fez, but that's because I'm a big Gravity Falls fan. So for me, I see it and I see Grunkle Stan.
Ah,
I realize it is also Matt Smith, but
the 11th Doctor.
Yeah.
Although, one thing I noticed is that the Fez actually shows up in several different Doctors. Maybe for one episode, maybe for a few minutes, but it's Matt Smith, I think, owned it. But I think he got the idea from a previous Doctor, and they ran with it.
if it works, stick with it.
Okay.
Plus, then it kind of makes it fun to, you know, have the different Doctor stuff come through.
Yeah.
Like the scientist lady that was from the movie who's wearing the scarf like
Yeah.
Makers.
Oswin.
The the one with the glasses.
Yeah.
Her name was Oswin.
I believe so. I'd have to look back and see, but I think it was. This is what happens when you try to cut and you don't have full use of your hand. Let me finish with this hat. We can get started.
If I had thought ahead of time,
Yeah.
I have a circle punch that I could have gotten from my mom, so we could have punched it out in perfect circles.
Well, I still have 9 left, but it's okay. So the idea is, this is where the cutting board comes in. Take one of your pieces, put like a dab of Mod Podge on it, spread it around the top, then take one of your icons. You know, if you pre-measured ahead of time, you don't have to worry about which ones are going to go where. But put that down, and then put another dab of Mod Podge on top of that, and spread it around, kind of seal it down. And there you go. You wanna, I don't know if you care to smooth out bits of Mod Podge, but they don't take very long to dry. So you make them in the afternoon, they're usable that evening. They're good with little kids who maybe don't know anything about the fandoms they're trying to tell stories about. So you get maybe you pick up the Lost in Space robots and Uhura and the exploding planet. It's going to be so much fun to hear the story that they tell about that. Likewise, it might not be the best game to play with people who are diehard fans of any of these things, because if they draw a Tribble and the Fez and the Star Trek communicator, they may sit there and say, but these things don't go together.
Where's the fun of that?
Exactly. So, with those people, you might want to get them a little drunk before you play. Just saying.
Story Stone, the newest drinking game.
If you can't tell a story with them, take a drink.
Yeah, okay. Everything's a drinking game if you're motivated.
Exactly. So whose hat is this?
Jane from Firefly.
Aha. And I'm not as versed in Firefly as I am in Doctor Who or Star Trek, so I would look at that and see maybe a toque from the Great White North.
Yeah, was it Strange Brew? I don't know.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis and the other dude.
Yeah. That was an amazing program too. Hilarious.
So my sister calls me. If I call her Home Slice, she calls me Strange Brew.
Nice. Anyway, the nice thing with Mod Podge is even if you get it gloopy, it tends to dry really clear, so.
Yeah, and she's using the white version of Mod Podge. I'm using like a shinier version. Gloss.
Yes.
So there are different types.
Get what you can find. I'm sure Elmer's glue would work just fine too.
Mm-hmm. They do make a clear version of Elmer's glue. So.
Shoot. This is kind of a get your hands messy craft. So It
Yeah.
can be fun if you are not much of a mess maker. Maybe you don't like it so much.
Wear your painting clothes.
Your kids will love it. Oh, my hands are full of Mod Podge. Woohoo, Mod Podge.
Yeah, but if you don't have paint all over yourself and you don't have glue all over yourself, did you really make a craft?
Exactly. I would say the only reason why it's minorly important to get a piece that fits on your rock or disc is if you have edges that don't want to stick down dry, they might catch on things and then tear. But you can always make more then, right? You probably should have put that exploding planet on this rock.
So do you know if Mod Podge is the same stuff you use to decoupage? Is that what that is?
I think so.
Because this look seems decoupage-y.
Yeah. I believe so. I haven't done decoupage in ages.
I had a lot of friends in high school whose moms got really into it.
Yeah. Look at this picture frame I made.
Yeah. She did like one whole wall of like a dining room one time with like cherubs and stuff from like old 40s cards. Her dad hated it. Like, I don't want to eat and see a cherub while I'm eating. I think that was kind of big in like the early 90s.
Yeah. Like macrame was big in the 70s.
Yeah, macrame.
Decoupage in the 80s. And there you go. Macrame, the plant hanger. Decoupage your plant pot.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then plant something psychedelic like a spider plant that dangles with little spiderlets. Or something that's got a lot of color to it. Variegated leaves. Erg. Lightsaber. Lightsaber on this rock.
So is there anything you need to do to get the decoupage stuff out of your paintbrush?
I would say just nice warm water. Work it until you feel it's gone. Your brush will still probably dry stiff, but you can loosen it up once it's dry after washing it. And it should be good. Anyway, so that's the idea. And then once they're dry, you can put them in a little pouch. The pouches I got at Michael's. They look like this.
beans.